So I did a live stream playing a game, and I didn't think I'd be doing a video this soon, or doing a video at all today, honestly. But here we are, and it seems that YouTube's policies have changed. They, of course, in the way they are, they didn't inform anyone of this. I'm going to be reacting to a video from a YouTuber who I don't know how to Penguin Zero. I don't know. That's a weird name for a channel, but I'm going to be reacting to it, and he's basically being, as he put it, Scooby Doo, unmasking the villain. Because YouTube can't be bothered to step forward and send out notices or anything. They can't be bothered to let anybody know. And I do think that it's intentional. YouTube intentionally doesn't tell you. YouTube tells me a lot of things. I'm constantly getting notifications about different changes. But if it's a change like this, I've noticed they intentionally don't tell you. It's intentional. It's intentional. They do this like this because it's intentional. So let's watch this video. I'm going to be stopping periodically.
Stop everything you're doing right now. I don't care how important it is. I have news that'll blow it out of the water. And trust me, you're going to want to get this sitting down. So if you're in the operating room watching this, it's time to put down the scalpel and pay attention. YouTube has just made a massive change to the platform, and in standard YouTube fashion has done a horrible job at communicating it to the community. So it's up to me, Ace Reporter Charles here, to tackle this topic from the front lines, just riding through like Paul Revere lighting the lanterns, letting you all know that another awful set of changes are coming to YouTube that have already overnight.
They do this intentionally. I'm going to say that now. This is intentional. But I'm going to read this because he doesn't read it. This is from RT Game Daniel. I have received another email from YouTube confirming they will not be restoring the status of any of my content or removing the age restrictions on my content. I feel completely let down by Team YouTube. I'm absolutely devastated. The offending content violates their change in policies only recently, which they will now retroactively apply to everyone. If you have played a mature game, your content will be age restricted in the future to follow these policies. This is a death knell for so many creators futures. I'm pretty sure it's going to affect Sean McLaughlin, Jacksepticeye, and I'm pretty sure it's going to affect Markiplier. I'm pretty sure it's going to affect anybody who, because they play a lot of horror games. They've been playing Callisto Protocol. Those videos are being completely demonetized and whatnot because of the changes. It's not just foul language, it's gore. Like anything. So basically, here's what we're getting out of YouTube. YouTube is becoming broadcast television. Yeah, legacy media that's dying for good reason because, people like to have freedom of speech. They don't like to be censored, and we're getting censorship. We're getting censorship. And it's not even from the FCC. This is becoming a thing because of advertisers. It's all about the almighty dollar. All right. And I do believe I know what's happened. YouTube is like, wow, there's all this content making money, and we're paying all these people, and we're not getting as much profit. This is what I'm assuming. Actually, I don't think so, because if they remove that monetization, it screws them too. So maybe not. So I do believe this just comes down to kissing advertisers' butts. Advertisers, I'm going to direct this to you, advertisers. Stop trying to make YouTube broadcast television. Nobody gives a crap about the old grandmothers and the old grandpas and the old cutes that might happen to watch YouTube that are easily offended. You need to stop, all right? Because I can guarantee you these aren't even the people that watch the channel. And it's not even young children like you think it is. Like, it's teenagers mostly. And trust me, they've heard far worse than a lot of the stuff that they possibly hear on YouTube. And you're sitting here putting this crap into place. You are going to kill YouTube. You're going to see a reduction in You're going to see a reduction in money and revenue. You're going to see a reduction in it. You're going to see a reduction in content. You're going to see a reduction in users doing stuff here, because hell, even I might jump ship to Twitch after this, which I stream anyways. It doesn't matter. I stream most of the time. When I do a video, it's something like this. YouTube, what the heck are you thinking? Like, see, I'm sitting here just kind of curbing my my language as it is. I wonder if butt sausage would get me demonetized. I'm not monetized as it is. I don't have the following yet. Please rate, comment, and subscribe to the video, because I need subscribers. Please subscribe. I'm like 400 and 400 and 400 and 492, I think. I think 492 subscribers away. So I'm just saying that, just a shameless plug, from having 1,000. Once I have 1,000, I can do a lot more with my streaming. I can reach more people. So please comment, subscribe. I appreciate it. But anyhow, continuing on with this, I'm going to continue and let this guy talk here in a minute. He does get to cursing himself, so I mean, not that it matters. I don't get yeah, so yeah, this is a death knell for so many creators' futures. I genuinely cannot believe this. This is an appalling lack of communication. In an email from a YouTube rep, I was also supplied with exact timestamps for my offending content. This was only communicated because I tweeted and generated enough outrage. It is otherwise not told. I am seriously asking YouTube to reconsider how they are enforcing these policies. This has the potential to ruin so many creators. It has the potential to ruin the platform, people. There is literally no point in investing in the platform when your livelihood can be taken away like this on a whim. This sucks for everyone. So I'm going to go ahead and let this guy keep talking now.
It tanked some creators' source of income from their channels, demonetized like half of their videos with no explanation, and more channels are soon to follow as this continues to roll out. And I'll let it be known right away here that yes, my channel has been hit extremely hard by this new shadow policy that they've slid into the equation here. The policy is,
it's
if you
intentional.
say any swear word or anything less than proper in the first 8 seconds of a video, you instantly get demonetized for it no matter what. There is no wiggle room. If you say anything that's not squeaky clean Weenie Hut Jr. and you let that rip in the first 8 to 15 seconds of that video, well, you're just getting blasted, and there's nothing you can do about it. Now, to a lot of you, hearing that's probably not surprising, because the previous policy that all YouTubers were playing ball with was the first 30 seconds you couldn't say fuck. You couldn't say anything super hard like fuck. Because if you did, you'd likely get demonetized. But now, it applies to the first 8 seconds, and all profanity is being treated equally, except for a couple of exceptions like hell and damn, I guess. Maybe even ass. You might be able to squeeze a little ass in there in the beginning, I suppose, if the YouTube Illuminati is feeling generous with...
Because everybody needs a little ass. Every now and then. Ooh, ass. Nice, big, juicy badunkadunks.
Their policy enforcement that day. Now, while that's all pretty clear about just not using any profanity whatsoever in the first 8 seconds...
Let's leave this. Questionnaire options and details. Ads guidance. This content can earn ad revenue. Abbreviated or censored or words acceptable for network television. They're turning YouTube into network television, like hell or damn in the title, thumbnail, or video. Profanity like shit, bitch, or fuck. They call it the F word. Used outside the start of the video, 15 seconds. Profanity that doesn't occur throughout the majority of the video. Profanity used within music or stand-up comedy video content. Definitions. Censored profanity refers to things like bleeping or muting the word, as well as covering written words with black bar symbols or text added in post-production. Abbreviated profanity refers to acronyms like WTF, what the fuck, where the original term is abbreviated by using its acronyms. Yes. This content may earn limited or no ad revenue. Profanity used in the first 8 to 15 seconds. Let's just say 15 seconds. Some examples of content that also fall into this category: focal usage of profanity throughout a video, such as mentioned in every sentence. So if you say a curse word in every sentence, yeah. Profanity used in the title, thumbnail, music, or stand-up comedy content. Definitions: profanity refers to words like bitch, shit, asshole, dick, or the F word, fuck. Words like damn or hell aren't considered profane, nor are they in scope of this policy. Profanity used in the first 7 seconds. Okay, so this content will earn no ad revenue. Why is it just in the first few seconds? Why not just... I know why. Because if a kid doesn't hear, somebody young doesn't hear that in the or somebody old in the first few seconds, they're treating it this way. So if somebody who's offended by it, they won't turn away from the video too soon, I think. I'm guessing. First 7 seconds of majority of the video, profanities used in thumbnails or titles. I never use profanities in anything. I just might slip out some curse words now and then. Any use of hateful language in the video, please refer to hateful content for... I never do that either. So let's go ahead and let this guy keep talking.
It gets a little muddy when it starts talking about a focal usage of profanity throughout the video. It says such as a mention in every sentence, but that's not exactly how they enforce it. For a lot of the videos that have been demonetized, at least on my side, it's not like I'm going around hitting them with like Saints Row dialogue. It's just very confusing what's actually triggering this new demonetization wave that's sweeping through like a plague.
I think it's all there. I think it's all there for a reason. I think it's meant to cause issues, and I think they did this for a reason.
For example, RT Game, again, isn't exactly a creator known for like intense swearing and getting out of control and unhinged and saying profanity in every sentence like this policy here. And yet, so many of his videos just got demonetized. And he's also not someone that does a whole lot of cursing and swearing like a sailor in the first like minute of his videos either. So it doesn't really make a whole lot of sense. It's not...
So they're saying it like this to cover their ass, but in reality, you can't curse at all. Because if you follow by those rules, you can still get in trouble. Those are there to cover their ass. They are going to get you regardless of how you curse when you curse. If you curse at all, your video is demonetized. If you show a bunch of violence and gore, you get demonetized. Absolutely fucking ridiculous. And YouTube's killing itself.
As clear as these rules seem to think that it is. Also, this rule applies retroactively to every piece of content ever made, even as far back as like 2007. So, like, half of my catalog of videos is now demonetized. This happened to a ton of creators, and because it's a new policy, yet every old video ever made now has to play by those rules, so it ended up with so much being demonetized. But it's very vague when it comes to the enforcement here. Let me give you just 2 quick examples from 2 new videos I made. Both of these were monetized as of 12 hours ago. So
this is where you're going to see why his stuff, and it wasn't necessarily cursing, he barely did anything.
So this first one is just called Good News. It is legitimately just going over very wholesome topics. The focal point is not on swearing, you know, it's not a potty mouth kind of video. It's just going over wholesome topics. But in the intro, I said shit pretty early. This week's been pretty doom and gloom with a lot of awful shit coming to light all across the internet. So me saying shit here is clearly what triggered the demonetization flag. Okay, a little upsetting, but they've now made these rules clear and they're retroactive, so I get it. But here's an example of...
Well, how much is too much? Are they going to start saying crap? Like, it was people once upon a time that just said they were offended by a word. People used the word to the point that other people got tired of hearing it, got offended by hearing it so much, and decided this is a bad word, stop saying it. That's really what it comes down to. All of these words were never bad in the past. They became bad over time, and other words could follow suit over time. We have to put our foots down somewhere, because eventually they're going to say, well, you can't say crap because I know what that means. You said crap. I know what that means. I've literally had people tell me to watch my language around kids because I said crap. Crap! I said crap. Yes, crap. And I was told to watch my language around children. If you think it's going to stop here, no. This is why I say there are people on the right. They do it for different reasons, but people who are on the right politically and on the left politically, they're two different groups that try to tell you how to fucking talk. Okay, on the far right, we have the Christian values and the no, you shouldn't curse and that's offensive and children don't need to learn it and everything. So they tell you can't curse and whatnot and whatnot. Then we have people on the far left who are offended at certain titles you may give them, certain ways you might address them and shit like that. So for different reasons, both, I hate to make this video all about politics, but the bottom line is eventually there's just going to be a lot of things we can't say. And you have to ask yourself, when is enough enough? You've got to be kidding me. I don't think this affects live streams. If it starts affecting live streams, YouTube's in a world of hurt. They need to get rid of these policies, but I know it was enforced because of the stupid advertisers. Again, if there are any advertisers watching this, which is probably not, pull your heads out of your butts, you a-holes. You are jerks. You are idiots. And I don't want you advertising on my videos anyways. If you're going to play games like this, I don't want your product on my channel. YouTube, you need to do something. You need to have a long, hard talk. There was word at one point that YouTube was trying to talk to advertisers about making it to where we could say certain words again. Yes, they were trying to get it to where we could curse more. What happened to that? There was a lot of stuff they were trying to convince advertisers about, and it fell. What did it do? It fall through? Oh my God. Okay, back to this guy.
One that makes no sense at all by their new rules. This is me talking about Godslap Issue 2 being out. Don't worry, I'm here now. I know for the last few months you've been cold and afraid, the uncertainty eating away at you, wondering what comes next. Well, I'm here to show you what comes next. It's issue 2 of Godslap, baby. I probably don't need to explain what Godslap is, you already know. It's our comic book series that's become more popular than the Bible. There's no profanity at all, not even low-level profanity. I don't mention ass or butt or anything like that at all. I'm just talking about Godslap and getting excited. It's a comic book series we've worked on for a long time, and I made this video just going over everything and letting you all know that it's available at godslapbook.com. This wasn't supposed to be an ad for it, but it's a great example here because there is no profanity used throughout this video until 5 minutes and 37 seconds into it after giving a plot summary for issue 1. Surrounding Sal, finishing them off with more finger flicks which blow their fucking head off. They share a brief conversation. So then what could have possibly triggered this demonetization? Is it using profanity at all that's going to result in demonetization? Because that'd be very concerning if so. The best guess I can muster is they must have been really upset about the animation because we had an animation made for issue 2 and it's a pretty gory animation. So it comes in at around a minute into the video and there is some animated gore and violence, but that's a minute into it. And again, that's not the focus of it, and I wouldn't think anyone would be like disturbed or shocked by the content. It's not anything that's, egregious or over the top. It's just violence in a comic book and animated format. So would that really now result in demonetization for any channel that has anything that's even close to this level of violence? Because that's really strict. Like, what you see there is something you'd find in like any M-rated or even T-rated game sometimes. Like, it's not that extreme. Like, I don't see why that would warrant being demonetized, but it is a bit scary because this has all happened overnight with no explanation. And it's not just,
that's the way YouTube does things.
Words and things like that. This applies to so much other shit that they're now enforcing heavily. But it's not just for getting a little wacky with your language in videos that'll result in demonetization now. If you're getting a little wacky with your game choice, if you're a gaming YouTuber, you can get demonetized for it, even age restricted in some cases. If you're playing a game that's kind of violent, you're very likely to get demonetized for it. And if there's bad language in that game, especially early on in the video you make covering that game, you're likely to be demonetized for it. And in fact, Callisto Protocol is the most recent example. You can get age restricted for it too. Callisto Protocol was deemed too gory. It's too much. This is very unholy stuff we're seeing here. So anyone that made videos on Callisto Protocol got age restricted for it, including me. A couple of them I know slid under the radar, but for the most part, anything that had Callisto Protocol did get age restricted, which is almost
Sorry, I stopped for a second because it sounded like somebody was blasting some subwoofers.
poetic because you might remember that Callisto Protocol is inspired by Dead Space, and Dead Space 2 had the worst marketing campaign of all time called Your Mom Hates Dead Space, and it was all about how offended mothers were getting at Dead Space. It was very silly, but now it's like become reality.
I guess it's not here. I guess that's on the video.
Reality for YouTube. YouTube is now that Dead Space mom when it comes to violent video games. It's pretty pathetic, but what's the saddest part about this whole situation is YouTube's refusal to be transparent with this and make it clear
Yeah.
that these policy changes are coming.
They don't tell it because it's intentional. They want to fuck over a lot of channels. I believe it's intentional. I believe wholeheartedly that this is intentional. All right? I believe that they are trying to do this because they're trying to figure out a way to thin out the herd, thin out the amount of people they have to pay, so they get more of the bottom dollar. But it's also because the advertisers are throwing a fit.
I had to find out, as did everyone else, after being hit by it and then doing digging, because anytime there's a policy change, YouTube treats it like a government secret, like the Krabby Patty secret formula. They just refuse to share it. So I had to learn by searching around online, talking to other creators, as well as talking directly to YouTube in order to get answers for what was going on. And even my YouTube contact wasn't aware of this until I brought it up and he did digging on his end. And that is absolutely not any fault of his own. That just goes to show you how split YouTube is internally, where things just aren't communicated effectively even on the inside. So how the fuck can they possibly manage to inform the community, I guess?
It's crazy.
It is so laughable. This policy is a game changer for a lot of channels. You have to completely alter your content strategy depending on like what you do. Like if you play like a certain game that could now be deemed a little too violent for ads. Like this is something that changes a lot for many creators. And you have to find out by going through fucking Twitter and then talking to people in whispers on Discord in order to figure out what was happening. That is so pathetic. That YouTube's repeated inability to communicate even their biggest changes to the platform just makes no sense. It just can't be that hard to put out clear documents letting people know what's around the corner and an estimated
It's intentional.
arrival date. I don't see what makes that so difficult and why they struggle so greatly with it. There was one article I found about this, and
it's intentional. It's intentional. If they let people know, people could be prepared and they wouldn't have to remove so much stuff. And oh my god,
early December, but of course there was no like set time frame for when this would actually launch or if it was even really going to launch for sure, because all of those things are written so vaguely you never really know what's going to come to the platform and what's not going to. Like it's just so frustrating to have them constantly make these awful choices without ever consulting creators or users of the platform, obviously, but also just not telling them either. Unfortunately, it's all just another common YouTube L here. I had to unmask the Scooby-Doo villain, and per usual, it was YouTube. So if you're just now figuring this out and wondering why your channel got demonetized over the last 24 hours, I'm sorry I had to be the one to shit out this bad news onto your plate. Would have been a lot more palatable if it came from YouTube's mouth as opposed to my ass, but is what it is. I am very...
They don't want you to know. They don't want you to be prepared. They don't want to look like bad guys, and they really don't want to see the outrage. They really don't want to hear the complaints. They just don't want any of it. They want to do what they want to do and not have to deal with any repercussions. That's how they are. That's how a lot of corporations are. They do what they want to do, and they don't want to have to deal with repercussions. Give it time. Something is going to compete. It's not going to be Facebook, but something will compete with YouTube.
Very convinced they will never actually communicate policy changes ever, at least not in any effective manner. So you'll just always have to wonder when the next big policy change is coming to fuck you in the mouth. So that's a pretty fun thing to think about when making content on YouTube. And yeah, just wanted to give everyone the little update here since YouTube didn't. That's about it. See ya.
Yeah. So this is ridiculous. And I'll say it again, it's intentional. They know what they're doing. Of course, like I said, I sound like a conspiracy theorist, but I'm pretty sure that they know what they're doing. They intentionally don't tell anybody anything. They intentionally don't let you know a thing. Oh my God. So, all right. This has been The Goof. Thank you so much for watching. Please rate, comment, subscribe. Subscribe. I'm trying to pull myself up out of everything. I want to, yeah, I need to get a green screen. Because even I don't like looking at all this around me. Ugh. But I'm out. Goof out. Have a good one.